My name is Kenny Pittock. I'm an artist from Naarm, Melbourne, and today I'm going to show you how to do a month-long drawing project. So essentially this started as a little challenge that I set for myself. It's called Oxtober, where basically every day for the month of October I made a drawing of an ox. And you might like to try it too. You don't have to wait until October to start though. You can start today. Now the reason that I think you might get a lot out of this activity is that if you're anything like me, sometimes the hardest thing about drawing is just deciding what to draw. So by picking the thing you're going to draw at the start of the month, it just takes away all of those decisions and it gives you more time to focus on your drawing. You might like to draw an ox every day like I did, or you might pick something else you'd like to draw. You might only spend 5 minutes on your drawing every day, or you might spend a whole hour. The important thing though is that you draw every day. Getting better at drawing is just like getting better at any skill, it just takes practice. So this is a fun activity to make drawing one of your daily habits. So for all of my drawings, I use just a piece of paper and the black marker, the same size every time. And the reason that I use the same marker and the same piece of paper is it just takes away another decision and gives me more time to draw, less time to have to think about what to draw with. Now, just because you're drawing the same thing every day doesn't mean that your drawings all have to look the same. So I'm going to show you a few of the drawings that I made this month so you can see some of the different techniques that I've tried. So for this drawing I made use of silhouette, so the whole ox is coloured in. And I also used a ruler when doing the windmill. So there's a couple of things you might like to try is silhouette and also using a ruler. For this drawing, I really focused on landscape and putting the ox in a different environment. And so there's a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. And I also tried to keep it quite moody or moody. And the way that I did that was using lots of chaotic line work. And the other thing that I did with this drawing is I coloured in the whole page. So you might like to try that on one of your drawings, is colour in the entire page. For this drawing of an ox, I really thought about the composition and it's just a focus on the head. So you might like to do a close-up of the thing that you're drawing and really just focus in on one part of it. I also did lots of line work for the sort of coarse hair of the ox, and I did it in different directions so that it kind of gives the face a bit more of a roundness. And for this drawing, I actually put two of the animals in so that you can see them leaning on each other. But also, sometimes when you're drawing just with lines, it can look a bit like what you're drawing is just floating in space. And so for really trying to show that an ox is a very heavy animal, I decided to really put lots of line underneath to give it sort of weight, so that you can see that the animals are really leaning into each other and also leaning into the ground. They're very heavy animals. And for this drawing, I put the ox in a very different environment. It's half submerged in water. And you can see water is very tricky to draw, especially when you're not using colour. And I might actually show you how I went about drawing this one. Okay, so I'm going to start by drawing the ox's horns using just solid line work. Pretty straightforward. Then going on to the ear, down the head, so like that. And then putting in some eyes. It's a little bit of a moody ox. Adding just a little bit of shadow. Then once we've done the head, we think about the ox's body and how it sort of fits in the water. So to show there's a bit more weight on the bottom, we might go over these lines, just add a little bit of darkness to show that's where it's in the water. And then we might add some pattern on the fur, or hair rather. Getting darker as it gets lower again, and lighter as it gets more in direct sunlight. And the next thing we're going to do is think about reflection. We're going to reflect on the reflection. So you want to do this quick movements to show that that's the way that water is working. Think about the horns. And then the next thing we're going to think about is the ripples. And again, you want to draw these very quickly, quick line works, just to show that the water is moving fast. And then we're going to put some reeds up the front just to give it a little bit of a foreground, just to plant the ox sort of further deep into the picture. Again, we're drawing these fast because they're kind of moving fast. So you're doing a bit of a flicky motion. And all of the reeds are leaning in one direction because you can imagine that there's a wind pushing into them. And then we might do a background, so some more reeds up here. These ones are a little bit smaller because they're further away. And then we might add some shadow from them as well. You want the shadows to be consistent across the whole drawing because you imagine that everything in the frame is getting hit with the sun at the same angle. And then you might just hints at water, hints at movement. Maybe we'll make these front ones a little bit darker. Just to show that they're a bit thicker. There's lots of them. And we're done. So the last thing you want to do when you finish your drawing is to turn it over and write the date on the back so that you remember the order that you made them in. And then once you've done all your drawings for the month, you might like to turn them into a little slideshow. And so to finish up for today, I'm going to show you the slideshow that I just made of all my 31 drawings from Oxtober. Thanks so much for watching. Have fun drawing. Bye.